Sharma. So once again I welcome you to my channel KD Exam Solutions. And today we are going to see a new chapter, The Tale of Custard the Dragon. So this is a beautiful poem written by Ogden Nash. So this poem we are going to see today. So I will be explaining to you the poem as well as the literary devices which are used in this poem. So here in this slide you can see we are going to see about the poet. It is Frederick Ogden Nash. He was born in 1902 and he died in 1971. Was an American poet, American poet, and he was very famous for his light verse. He was known as the producer of humorous poetry. He received Sarah Joseph Hale Award in 1964. So as you can see, Frederick Ogden Nash, he was a very famous American poet. Now we are moving to now let us move to the introductory part of the poem. So little bit of introduction about the poem. Ogden Nash has written a poem about a little girl, Belinda. As you can see here in the picture, little girl Belinda, who owns many pets, namely a black kitten named Ink, a grey mouse named Blink, yellow dog named Mustard, and a coward dragon named Custard. The poet has described every character to be brave except the dragon, who is a coward. So all the other characters like kitten and the mouse and the dog, they are described as brave, but dragon was a coward. But the whole situation changes when a pirate attacks Belinda's house. No one else had the guts to face him. It was the dragon that killed the pirate. All the characters are happy because they are saved by the dragon, but quickly change their thoughts and describe themselves to be more powerful had the situation not been so confusing for all of them. So as you can see here, who are the characters here? You can see one is the little girl Belinda, Belinda, and then you can also find some character like Blink, and you have a Mustard, you have Ink, and also Custard. So these are the characters about whom we are going to read in this poem. Now let me move to the explanation of the poem. So as you can see here in stanza 1, Belinda lived in a little white house with a little black kitten and a little grey mouse, and a little yellow dog and a little red wagon, and a realio trulio little pet dragon. Here wagon means it is a vehicle used for transporting goods or another specified purpose. So in this stanza, the poet says that once there was a little girl named Belinda. What was the name of the girl? Belinda. And she lived in a little white house. She had a white house. She lived with some creatures who were her pets. And who were the creatures? A black kitten, a grey mouse, and a yellow dog, a little red wagon. Wagon is actually a vehicle, and a creature that the poet says was really and truly a dragon. Okay, so these are the creatures or the pets who lived with the little girl Belinda. Okay, now what are the literary devices used in this first stanza? So the rhyme scheme of the poem. What is the rhyme scheme here? A-A-B-B. You see, house and mouse. They are the rhyming words. Then you have wagon, dragon. See here, house, mouse. Okay, house, mouse, wagon, dragon. Okay, so this is the rhyme scheme. A-A-B-B. A-A-B-B. Okay. Then you have the repetition. Repetition is also a literary device. It is use of the word little. You see here, the word little is repeated. Okay, little white house, little grey mouse, little red wagon, little pet dragon. So these all are repeated. This word is repeated, little. Then you have another literary device known as oxymoron. It is use of two words with opposite meanings. Okay, two words with opposite meaning, like here it is pet dragon. Okay, pet dragon, as you know that dragon cannot be a pet because dragon is actually a dangerous animal, so it cannot be kept as a pet. But here in this poem we find that dragon is also a pet, so it is opposite in meaning. Then you have another literary device, anaphora. Anaphora is actually repeated use of word at the start of the two consecutive lines, like and a little and a really. You see here, and a little yellow dog and a really truly little pet dragon. So this is repeated use of word at the start of two consecutive lines. So these are the two consecutive lines, and you see this word and is repeated here. So this is known as anaphora. Then you have the refrain. Refrain is actually the repetition of a sentence again and again. So repetition of a sentence again and again. You find here and a really truly. You see here, and a really truly little pet dragon. So this line you will find in other stanzas also coming, okay, constantly, and that's why it is known as a refrain. Okay, it is known as refrain. Next literary device is poetic license. So poetic license is actually realio, trulio for real and true. Here realio means real, trulio means true. The spellings have been changed to create a musical effect. So here you see the spellings are not written in properly. Okay, so real, R-E-A-L, instead of R-E-A-L it is written R-E-A-L-I-O, realio, and trulio. It is just to give a musical effect. So this literary device is known as poetic license. Okay. Now moving to the second stanza. So we see here, now the name of the little black kitten was Ink, and the little grey mouse, she called him Blink, and the little yellow dog was sharp as mustard, but the dragon was a coward, and she called him Custard. So what do we find here? Mustard. Mustard is actually a yellow color flower you might have seen in the fields, and coward is weakling, or someone who is very weak or very frightened, fearful, coward. Okay. So here in this stanza, the poet explains the name of all the animals that are tamed by Belinda. So he says that the name of black kitten is Ink, the name of grey mouse is Blink, the little yellow dog had yellow color, so she called him Mustard, and the dragon that was a coward, means was a weakling, so he was called Custard. Okay. Now, the literary devices used in this stanza, you find again the rhyme scheme is same. Again, A, B, B, ink, blink, mustard, custard. See here, ink, blink, mustard and custard. Then again you have simile. So simile here you see dog is compared to mustard, and the little yellow dog was sharp as mustard. Okay, sharp as mustard. So this literary device is known as simile. Okay, when there is a comparison using the word as or like. Okay, L-I-K, like. Then you have another literary device, alliteration. Covered and she called him Custard. So you see here this letter C, and here called C, and again in custard you have C. So C sound is repeated. Okay, this sound is repeated here, and this literary device is known as alliteration. Then you have anaphora. Anaphora is a repeated use of word at the start of two consecutive lines, as we had seen in the first stanza also, and word was repeated. So here also you see, and the little grey mouse, and the little yellow dog. So this word is repeated, and the little, and the little. Okay, so this is known as anaphora. Another literary device, you have repetition. Repetition is use of word little. You see here, little is repeated here. In the first line also you find here little black kitten. You have little grey mouse. Okay, you have little yellow dog. So this word is repeated, little. So this literary device is known as repetition. Now moving to the third stanza. Custard the dragon had big sharp teeth, and spikes on top of him, and scales underneath. Mouth like a fireplace, chimney for a nose, and really truly daggers on his toes. In this stanza, the poet describes the dragon that it had big sharp teeth. Okay, it had big sharp teeth and spikes on the top. You might have seen the spikes on the dragon's back. This means that its skin was pointed on the top, and on the lower part it had scales which were bony plates to protect the skin. His mouth has been compared to a fireplace because it is assumed that dragon can release fire from the mouth. Even his nose is compared to a chimney which is used to pass out smoke. His feet are like a sharp knife, that is a dagger. Okay, now literary devices used in this stanza are rhyme scheme, again same, A, B, B. Teeth, underneath. Okay, then you have nose, toes. So the rhyme scheme is A, B, B. Then you have simile again used here. Dragon's mouth is compared with fireplace, mouth like a fireplace. So as I told you, it is a comparison using the word like or as. It is known as simile. Then you have refrain. Refrain is again the repetition of a sentence again and again. And a really, truly, as we have seen in the first stanza also this line was there, and in this stanza also you find here, and really, truly daggers on his toes. So this is known as refrain. Then you have metaphor. Metaphor is again, it is a comparison. Okay, chimney for a nose. The nose is like a chimney. So here the nose is compared to a chimney. So metaphor is not the direct comparison, but it is indirect comparison. Okay. Now we are moving to the next stanza. In this stanza, Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of beers, and Ink and Blink chased lions down the stairs. Mustard was as brave as a tiger in a race, but Custard cried for a nice safe cage. Now you see here, some words are used here. Barrel. Barrel, you see here, barrel is used here. It means a drum. And again, chased. Chased is used here. Okay. It means hunt or follow. Then you have rage. Rage is actually anger. Okay. So in this stanza, the poet says, now the poet explains the inner strength or the bravery of various characters of the poem. Now who are the characters here? Ink, Blink, Custard and Mustard. So he is trying to explain the strength or the bravery of various characters. He says that Belinda was as brave as a group of bears, and Ink and Blink were so brave that they could hunt lions. So Belinda was also very brave. She could defeat a group of bears, and also Blink and Ink, they are considered to be very brave. They could even hunt lions. So here he has shown the bravery of the kitten and the little mouse that could hunt even a lion. The dog was very brave, just like an angry tiger. And here the dog is Custard is also compared with a tiger, angry tiger. But to contrast of all of them was Custard. So Custard the dragon was not brave. He was so afraid of everything that he always demanded a safe cage. That means he always wanted to remain in some hiding place. That means he was not very brave. Now, what are the literary devices used in this stanza? Again, you find the rhyme scheme. It is same. A, B, B, bears, stairs, rage, cage. Then you have alliteration. Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of bears. Here B sound. B sound is repeated. You see here, Belinda you have B, brave you have B. Okay. Barrel you have B, and again in bears you have B. So B sound is repeated. So this literary device is known as alliteration. Then you have simile. Belinda's bravery is compared to that of a barrel full of bears. Okay, as a barrel full of bears. Mustard's bravery is compared to that of an angry tiger. So Mustard was as brave as a tiger in a race. So you see here simile. Comparison again. Mustard was as brave as a tiger. Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of bears. So this is comparison using the word as. So this is known as simile. Then you have another literary device, a new literary device coming in here, assonance. It is the use of vowel sound A. Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of bears. So assonance is not only the repetition of a vowel sound A, but it could be any of the vowel sounds. As you know, there are 5 vowel sounds, A, E, I, O, U. So it could be any of them. So here it is the repetition of A sound. Okay, in Belinda you find here A is here, was you see A is here, as you see A is there, brave again A is there, as again A is there, A, then barrel again you have A, bears also you have A. So this sound A sound is repeated again and again. Okay, this is very very prominent, and that's why this literary device is known as assonance. So it could be any of the vowel sounds. Here in this case it is A, but it could be even O, it could be I, or it could be U, or any E. So this literary device is known as assonance. Now let us move to the next stanza. Belinda tickled him, she tickled him unmerciful. Ink, Blink and Mustard, they rudely called him Percival. They all sat laughing in the little red wagon at the real you, true you, cowardly dragon. So, these are some of the difficult words which you find in this stanza. Tickled, as you see here, tickled, this means stroke, and here it means to tease someone. Okay. Another word is unmerciful. Unmerciful means being cruel. And then you have Percival. Percival is actually the name of a knight in King Arthur's court. There was a knight in King. In this stanza, we see Belinda used to stroke the dragon or tease the dragon in a very cruel way. Ink, Blink and Mustard made fun of him by comparing him to a knight named Percival, who was thought to be brave but ran away due to lack of courage. And they used to tease the dragon while sitting in their little red wagon. So as you can see here, this little red wagon. So now the literary devices used in this stanza, you find again the rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B, B. Then you have refrain, repetition of a sentence again and again, and a real you, true you, as you can find here, the real you, true you. Then you have the refrain, repetition, okay, repetition, use of the word tickled again. So you see here, tickled is used here, okay. Then you have another literary device coming in, allusion. It is reference to any person or place. So here, who is referred to? This person is referred to Percival. Percival, who was Percival? Percival was a knight in King Arthur's court. Okay, so this is referring to a person. That's why it is an allusion. Then you have personification. You see here, Ink, Blink and Mustard. They rudely called him Percival. So they are compared as human being. Okay, they are given the qualities of human being. Okay, this Ink, Blink and Mustard, they are actually calling. Who calls? A human being, human person calls. Okay, so they are given the human attributes or quality of calling, and that's why it is known as personification. I hope this stanza is clear to you. Now we are moving to the next. In this stanza, Belinda giggled till she shook the house, and Blink said weak, which is giggling for a mouse. Ink and Mustard rudely asked his age, when Custard cried for nice safe cage. The word you find here, giggle. Giggled here means to laugh. And weak. Weak here, it is the sound made by the mouse. Okay, mouse. In this stanza, the poet says that Belinda used to laugh so loudly that her voice echoed in the house. Okay, her voice echoed in the house. Blink, the mouse, used to laugh and make a sound of weak. Weak is a sound which is produced usually by the mouse. On the other hand, Ink and Mustard would tease him by asking the dragon his age whenever he used to demand for a nice safe cage. So both of them, Ink and Mustard, both they used to ask his age. Whenever the dragon became coward, he was looking for a nice safe cage. Now some literary devices used here in this stanza are rhyme scheme. Again you have A, B, B, house, mouse, age, cage. Then you have another literary device coming in here, onomatopoeia. It is actually usage of sound words to create a dramatic effect. So here you see the sound word one is weak, other one is giggled. These are the sound words used here in this stanza just to create a dramatic effect. So this literary device is known as onomatopoeia. Then you have repetition. Custard cried for a nice safe cage. So this line is again repeated. You have seen in the previous stanzas also this line was repeated. Okay. Now moving to the next stanza. Suddenly they heard a nasty sound, and Mustard growled, and they all looked around. Blanche, cried Ink, and ooh, cried Belinda, for there was a pirate climbing in the window. Now you see the words here, nasty. Nasty is bad or unpleasant, something bad or unpleasant, nasty sound. Growled is actually barking. Okay, dogs they bark. Okay, growl. Then you have pirate, a person who robs ship in the sea. Okay, they are known as pirate. Okay. Then you have window. Window, it is used for window. So it is a short form of window. Here the poet just wanted to create a musical effect, and that's why to rhyme with this word Belinda. So the poet has used window instead of using window. Okay. So while all of them were making fun of dragon, they heard a sound of someone entering the house. So as all the other pets, they were making fun of dragon. At that time only they heard some sound. Okay. When they looked towards the window, they saw a pirate climbing up the wall, and the dog barked at him, and the kitten meowed to him. Belinda cried, ooh, because all of them were scared of the pirate. Okay, so all of them were very much scared, and that's why they made different type of noises. You see here. And the literary devices used in this stanza are rhyme scheme. Again, it is same. AA, BB, sound, around, Belinda, window. Okay. Then you have consonants, use of consonant sound. You have seen the assonance, now you are seeing consonants. So consonants is actually the use of consonant sounds. So S sound is here very prominent. You see here, suddenly they heard a nasty sound. So you see here, suddenly S is here also, S you find here also, again you find here S here, you find S here also. Okay, so S sound is very much prominent in this line, and this literary device is known as consonants. It could be any other consonant sound except vowels. If it is vowel, then it will be assonance. If it is consonant, it will be consonants. Then you have onomatopoeia, usage of sound words to create a dramatic effect, like mustard, growled, meowed, cried. So these are the expressions of the words. Okay, words just to create some dramatic effect. Then you have poetic license, we had seen in the first stanza also. So window is written as window to create the rhyme. So this word is no little instead of window, the poet has written window just to create a rhyme with this word and just to create a musical effect. Now moving to the 8th stanza. Here the poet says, pistol in his left hand, pistol in his right, and he held in his teeth a cutlass bright. His beard was black, one leg was wood. It was clear that the pirate meant no good. So pistol, actually it is a handgun, and cutlass, it is a short sword with a curved blade. Okay, curved blade, as you can see here. The pirate is holding something in his hand. In this stanza, the poet describes the appearance of the pirate. He says that the pirate was holding handguns in both his hands. Okay, both his hands. and had a little sword too. He was holding his sword with his teeth. Why he was holding his sword with his teeth? Because in both his hands he was holding a gun. He had a black beard and his one leg was made of wood. Probably he might have lost his leg in some incident, and that's why he had a wooden leg. This means that though the pirate was a disabled person, but still he was frightening all the other characters. All the other characters here means Ink, Blink, Custard, Mustard and Belinda. Moreover, he intended to harm them. So it was very clear that he had come with a very bad intention, not with a good intention. Now the literary devices used here in this stanza are rhyme scheme, A, B, B, alliteration. Beard was black, so B, he held his H. Okay, so you see here in this beard was black, so B sound. He held his, okay, so you see H sound is repeated here in both the lines. So this literary device is known as alliteration. Then imagery. Imagery is an image is created about the appearance of the pirate. So as you can see here by this explanation about or description about the pirate, so you come to know how the pirate looked like. Okay, so here the appearance of the pirate is described. So this is known as imagery. Now moving to the next stanza. Here Belinda paled and she cried, "Help, help!" But Mustard fled with a terrified yelp. Ink trickled down to the bottom of the household, and little mouse Blink is tragically mousehole. Now you see some words here like paled. Okay, paled here means turn yellow due to fear. Then you have another word yelp, a short sharp cry, yelp. You have trickled here, runs, okay, run here and there, that is trickled. Then you have another word strategically, that means fully planned. Mouse hole, here it is the hole where the mouse lives. Now when all of them saw the pirate, then they got frightened. Okay, so all the pets, when they saw the pirate, they got very much frightened. Belinda was so frightened that she turned yellow due to fear and started crying for help. As you can see here, Belinda is crying for help. Mustard, the dog, started crying for help too. The kitten Ink ran down towards the bottom of the house as if he had already planned for it. So he also ran away from there. The mouse Ink ran into his little mouse hole in order to save himself. So all of them, they were looking for safe cage. They ran away from there as they saw the pirate. Now the literary devices used here are rhyme scheme, again A, B, B. Transferred epithet, it is terrified yelp. You see it, terrified yelp. Then you have repetition, help, help. The word help is repeated here, help, help. You have poetic license, once again used here, use of the word mouse hold to rhyme with the household. So instead of writing your mouse hole, the poet has written mouse hold because it has to rhyme with this word household. So again it is the poetic license. Okay. Now moving to the next stanza. But up jumped Custard, snorting like an engine, clashed his tail like irons in a dungeon. With a clatter and a clank and a juggling squirm, he went at the pirate like a robin at the worm. Squirm, worm. Okay. So now here you see some words like snorting. It is make a sudden explosive sound through one's nose. That is known as snorting. Clashed. Clashed means fought. Dungeon means underground prison. Clatter, clank. It is a sound of hard object falling on each other. And jangling, squirm. Sound of hard object falling on each other again. Robin is a bird. So here in this stanza, when all the other characters that were earlier defined as very brave got frightened. That means Ink, Blink and Mustard. They were defined as brave, but now they got frightened. The dragon did the most unexpected thing. He jumped onto the parrot and made such a strong sound with his nose as if the engine was producing a sound. Not only this, he hit his tail on the ground with great force that it produced a heavy sound of metal being rubbed against each other in the underground prisons. And he attacked the pirate just like Robin Bird that attacks the worm. As you might have seen, a robin bird attacking the worm. Okay, it will be sitting somewhere on the branch, and whenever it sees a worm walking, crawling on the earth surface, suddenly it will attack. Now the literary devices you find here, rhyme scheme again A, B, B, and simile is used here. Sound of dragon is compared with sound of engine, snorting like an engine. So you see here there is a comparison between the engine and the sound of Custard the dragon. Then you have clashed his tail like irons in a dungeon. Again you see here is clashing his tail is compared to the irons in a dungeon. Dragon's attack on pirate is compared to Robin Bird. Again you see here, it is comparison is here. Pirate like a robin at a worm. Okay, like a robin at a worm. So you find these are the comparison. Tail like iron. Okay, then you have snorting like an engine. So these are the examples of simile which you find in this stanza. Now moving to the next stanza, the pirate gaped at Belinda's dragon and gulped some grog from his pocket flagon. He fired 2 bullets, but they didn't hit, and Custard gobbled him every bit. So you see some words here, gaped. Okay, gaped. It means stared with mouth wide open. Gulped. Gulped means to swallow. Okay, swallow. Gorg is actually a drink. Then flagon, a container made of silver in which drink is stored. Okay, a flagon is a container. And gobbled here means swallowed hurriedly, swallowed very fast. Now what we find here in this stanza, the pirate got so shocked by the dragon's reaction that he opened his mouth wide with shock. So he was now totally shocked. To gather some strength, he drank some alcohol from a container in his pocket. So he had kept a small alcohol bottle or a container in his pocket. So immediately he took out that container and he drank some wine, alcohol from there. After gathering some courage, he fired 2 bullets on the dragon. So what did he do? After that he fired 2 bullets on the dragon but missed it. Custard the dragon ate every bit of this fierce looking pirate. So now by the time Custard had already attacked the pirate and he had eaten him, every bit of him. Okay. Now the literary devices used here are a rhyme scheme A, B, B. As you can see here, dragon, flagon, hit, bit. Okay. Then you have alliteration, gulped some, gorg. You see G sound is repeated here in gorg and in gulp. Then you have imagery. Imagery, they have shown the reaction and actions made by the parrot on seeing the dragon. So you see here, when the parrot he saw the dragon, what was his reaction? Okay, so that is shown here. And this literary device is known as imagery. Now moving to the next stanza. Belinda embraced him, Mustard licked him, no one mourned for his pirate victim. Ink and blink in glee did Garrett around the dragon that ate the parrot. You find here some words like embraced means to hug, mourned it means to feel sorry for the death of someone, victim is actually the sufferer, glee is delight, okay, or joy, or Garrett is danced. Okay, so now in this stanza, when the parrot was dead, Belinda hugged the dragon. Okay, Belinda hugged the dragon and Mustard licked him. No one was sad for death of the parrot. Why? They all were happy. They all were happy. Both Ink and Blink were running around the dragon in happiness. So here the poet says that all the characters were happy and they were showing their gratitude towards the dragon as he had saved all of them. So they were trying to show their gratitude towards the dragon. Now the literary devices used in this stanza are, again rhyme scheme is same, A, B, see here, him, victim, Garrett, pirate. Okay. Then you have alliteration, glee did Garrett. So you see here G sound is repeated here. In glee also you find G is there, and Garrett also you find G is there. Then you have assonance, again use of vowel sound O. Okay, no one mourned for. So use of vowel sound I. Ink and blink in glee did. So use of vowel sound A. That ate the parrot. So I said this is the repetition of the vowel sounds. It is known as assonance. Find here no one mourned for, no. So O is here also, you find here also, O here also, and O here also. Again you find here I, here also you find I, here you find I, and here also you find I. In this line you find A sound is repeated, A, and again you have A. Okay, so these vowel sounds are prominent in these lines, and that's why this literary device is known as assonance. Now moving to the next stanza. But presently up spoke little dog Mustard. I'd have been twice as brave if I hadn't been flustered. And up spoke Ink and up spoke Blink. We would have been 3 times as brave, we think. And Custard said, I quite agree that everybody is braver than me. So here you see flustered. Flustered means upset or confused. In this stanza, the poet says that after they thanked and showed their love towards the dragon, they changed their mind. Now immediately they changed their mind. Okay, who changed their mind? The other pets. Okay, the other pets. That means Custard, Mustard, Custard, and Ink and Blink. They were reminded of how they used to make fun of this coward dragon, and now they all were praising him. So earlier they used to make fun of this dragon, but now these pets, they were praising him. So at once the dog said that it was just because of some confusion that he wasn't able to do anything, otherwise he would have been twice as brave as Custard. So now the dog started boasting off, okay, showing off. Then both Ink and Blink also said that they would have been 3 times braver than Custard. Okay, To this, the dragon said that he fully agreed to this, that all of them were more powerful and braver than him. So now, dragon shows the very submissive character of himself. He submits to them and he says, yes, you are far braver than me. Okay. Literary device used here, rhyme scheme again, AABB. A, mustard, flustered, blink and ink. Okay. Now let us move to the final stanza. Belinda still lives in her little white house with her little black kitten and her little grey mouse and her little yellow dog and her little red wagon and her really truly little pet dragon. Belinda is as brave as a barrel full of beers, and ink and blink chase lions down the stairs. Mustard is as brave as a tiger in a rage, but Custard keeps crying for a nice safe cage. So in this stanza what we find, at last the poet used the same lines again to show that after this terrific episode in which the dragon was the hero, where all the other characters still undermined him by saying that they were more powerful than him and could have handled the situation in a much better way, the poet says that life started again in the same manner. Belinda still lives in that little white house with ink, blink, mustard and custard, and all of them are very brave, whereas the dragon is still a coward who always wants to stay safe in his cage. Now some literary devices used in this stanza are refrain again, repetition of a sentence again and again, and a really truly, okay, and a really truly little pet dragon, as you can see here. Okay, then repetition, stanza has been repeated, the whole stanza has been repeated, you see here. Okay. You can see here, Belinda is as brave as a barrel full of bears, and ink and blink chase lions down the stairs. Mustard is as brave as a tiger in a rage, but Custard keeps crying for nice safe cage. So I hope now you have understood this poem well, and if you have liked this explanation, and if you want to have more and more explanations on various chapters, then you can write me in the comment box which chapter you want to be explained, and certainly I will try to explain that chapter as soon as possible. But don't forget to subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that time to time you get the notifications whenever I upload some new videos on some new chapters. So till then, bye. Thank you.